Shoes for the snow. Some stories don't begin with fame, fortune, or magic. Some begin in silence, in snow, and in the quiet kindness of a single heart. In a village blanketed by snow, where winters were long and warm hearts were rare, lived a boy who had little but gave everything. This is not a story of riches or fame, but of kindness, stitched into boots and worn through frost. This is the story of Noah Gray, the boy who walked through snow with hope in his heart. In the frosty village of Silverpine, where snow blanketed the rooftops for nearly half the year and chimneys puffed smoke like sleepy giants, lived a boy named Noah Gray. He was known not for his strength, nor his speed, but for his kindness, a rare and quiet magic in a cold world. Silverpine was the kind of place where time moved slower, where every creaking step on a wooden porch echoed through the crisp air, and where neighbors knew not only your name, but the names of your ancestors. It was surrounded by pine forests that whispered secrets and mountains that glowed pink at dawn. Life was simple here, but winters were harsh. The villagers relied on each other for warmth, both literal and emotional. Noah lived with his mother in a small wooden cabin at the edge of the village. His father had passed away during a particularly brutal winter years ago, while out searching for firewood in a blizzard. He had never returned. Since then, Noah and his mother, Elise, had learned to live simply. Elise worked as a seamstress, stitching warm cloaks and woolen gloves for the villagers. Her hands, though rough and red from years of sewing, moved with grace. She had once dreamed of being a fashion designer in the city, but after the tragedy, her world became this little cabin and her son. Noah helped in every way he could. He rose early to chop firewood, fetched water from the partially frozen well, shoveled snow from the neighbors' paths, and delivered finished garments to homes tucked deep in the snowdrifts. The villagers liked Noah. He never said much, but he always smiled. He was the kind of boy who rescued birds stuck in chimneys and gave away his mittens to children who had none. But there was one problem. Noah didn't have proper shoes. He wore old leather boots that were cracked, too small, and patched with layers of cloth and string. In summer, they pinched his feet. In winter, they soaked through. And when the snow fell, thick and heavy, his feet turned numb before he even reached school. Still, Noah never complained. He'd grown used to the cold. When asked, he would say, "They still work." One morning, as he trudged through knee-deep snow to deliver a bundle of scarves, he stopped by the bakery. The warmth and smell of fresh bread invited him in. Mrs. Alder, the baker, smiled at him from behind the counter. "Good morning, Noah. Come to warm your toes?" He blushed and nodded. Just for a moment. She handed him a warm roll, fresh from the oven. "You're a good boy. You deserve shoes that match your heart." He laughed nervously and thanked her, then disappeared back into the white world outside. As the days grew colder, Noah's boots grew worse. The soles had holes, and even stuffing them with wool didn't help. Yet every morning he carried out his chores with frozen feet and a warm heart. The pain became a dull throb he no longer noticed. One afternoon, while delivering gloves to the cobbler, Mr. Bennett, Noah paused. The shop smelled of polish, dust, and old leather. Shoes of every size lined the walls, sturdy work boots, elegant dress shoes, and cozy slippers. Mr. Bennet, a quiet man with thick glasses and a permanent scowl, noticed Noah's worn boots. "Noah, those look painful." Noah shrugged. "They still work." The cobbler knelt and inspected them. "Barely. Why haven't you said anything?" Noah looked away. "We don't have much. Mama needs to buy food and thread. Shoes can wait." Mr. Bennet said nothing more, but a thoughtful look crossed his face. That evening, as Noah sat by the fireplace, trying to dry his damp boots, Elise sighed. "You need new shoes, sweetheart." "I'm fine, Mama. They still work." But even she could see the blue in his toes. Snowstorms came heavier that week. School was closed. The village paths were buried. Still, Noah and his mother kept working. They needed firewood, food, and warmth. Elise took in more orders than usual, mending coats, fixing zippers, and sewing buttons long into the night. Noah helped by organizing materials, folding fabrics, and running errands. He rarely rested. It was how he kept the cold from creeping in too deep. One particularly icy morning, he helped old Mr. Holloway stack firewood, carried water for the Wilson twins, and fixed the latch on Mrs. Hemsworth's chicken coop, all while his toes throbbed in their frozen prison. Everyone noticed. Some turned away in guilt. Others offered socks or warm tea. But no one spoke of the obvious. On Christmas Eve, the village square glittered with lanterns. Children sang songs, and stalls sold hot cider and gingerbread. The smell of cinnamon, pine, and snow lingered in the air like a holiday lullaby. Noah went alone, his boots patched, with cloth and lined with hope. His breath came in puffs as he wandered through the crowd. Everyone was smiling, wrapped in wool and fur, but his feet ached with every step. As he passed the cobbler's stall, Mr. Bennet waved him over. "Come, lad. I've something for you." From under the counter, he pulled out a box and opened it. Inside were boots unlike any Noah had ever seen. Deep brown leather, lined with fleece, waterproof and sturdy, with soles thick enough to climb mountains. "Merry Christmas, Noah," said Mr. Bennet. Noah's mouth opened, then closed. "But I can't pay." "They're paid for." "By who?" Mr. Bennet winked. "By a dozen warm hearts. You've given so much. Now it's your turn." Tears welled in Noah's eyes. He slipped the boots on. They fit perfectly, like warmth itself had been stitched into them. He whispered, "Thank you." Mr. Bennet patted his shoulder. "You've earned more than these boots, Noah. You've earned every good thing this village can give." That night, Noah walked home with dry feet and a heart full of gratitude. The snow no longer bit his toes. Instead, it crunched beneath him like music. The moonlight sparkled on the white rooftops, and for the first time in many winters, he didn't feel small or invisible. He felt seen. When he arrived home, Elise gasped, "Noah, where did you get those?" He told her the story as she embraced him tightly, tears in her eyes. That night, by the fire, they shared a warm meal, laughed softly, and wrapped themselves in handmade blankets. Word spread quickly. People came to know that good deeds find their way back. The baker, the librarian, the teacher, and even the grumpy postman had contributed. Some with coins, some with old leather, some with stitching help. It had been a quiet conspiracy of kindness. Winter passed slowly, but Noah walked with confidence. He began reading to the younger children in the library on Saturdays, helped repair the old bridge near the woods, and organized a coat drive for others in need. His kindness, once quiet and overlooked, had become contagious. Years later, when Noah was grown, he opened a small workshop at the edge of the village, not just a place for mending shoes, but for offering warmth to those who needed it. He made boots, coats, and mittens for orphans and wandering travelers. Above the doorway hung a sign that read, "Kindness walks farther than feet." And every Christmas Eve he left a pair of warm boots at someone's doorstep anonymously with a simple note, "For your journey, wherever it leads." In the village of Silverpine, people still speak of the boy with warm feet and a warmer heart, who showed that kindness, like good boots, carries us far, even through the deepest snow. Sometimes the smallest kindness can warm an entire village. And sometimes the gift we need most finds its way to us, not through wealth, but through love. Noah's story reminds us, even the coldest winters can be softened by warm hearts and well-worn boots. Because in the end, kindness always walks farther than feet.